All right, so let's look at these surface areas. Let me go back to the first problem that you were struggling with. So here we've got to find the surface area of a cylinder. So remember that when we find the surface area, we're going to find the top circle and the bottom circle, the base, and it's going to be an exact duplicate of the top and the bottom, right? And that when we look at this lateral surface area or the surface area around the sides, it's really just a rectangle that it's like the label on a can. When you unroll it, you start here and you unroll it, you get a straight line, and then you have a straight line from here to here. So your net, or your, if you were to wrap it in paper and then take the paper and lay it out flat, that's a net. It looks like this. It has a circle on the top, and then there's a rectangle, which is the label around the sides of the can, and then you have the bottom circle here. So you've got these three pieces. All right, so we use pi, the value of pi. This is the rounded version of pi. It's a short version. It's not the whole thing. We use a short version for simplification purposes. The area of a circle, so the area of a circle is equal to pi r square. So that's going to be, we use 3.14 for pi. So it's going to be 3.14, and then the radius square. So 4 meters times 4 meters, right? And that's going to be this circle. And we're going to do it again for this circle. We're going to use that measurement twice. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 2 times this, because we've got a circle, we've got two circles. We've got a circle just like it on the bottom. So we have 2 times the area of the circle, pi r squared. So we're just going to multiply it. 2 times the area of the circle, so that's times 2. This times 2, because you have a top and you have a bottom that are exactly the same. So we just go ahead and do that calculation first. So 2 times 3.14 times 4 times 4. So that is going to be 100.48. We have millimeters once, or meters once, meters twice, so meters twice. So this is the area of the circles. So we have this circle done and this circle done. Now we have to look at the rectangle in the middle. So we know the area of a rectangle, and we only have one of those, is going to be the length times the width, right? We know that that's how you find the area of a rectangle. So what are the dimensions? What are the length and the width? Well, we know that 12 meters is how tall it is. That's one of the degrees, or one of the measures that we need. The other measure is the other direction, the width. We have the height, now we have the width. So we're going to put length in for height, right? You only have to have 2 measurements. So this measurement is 12 meters. So now we need width. What is the width? The width is going to be the circumference of the circle, because this wraps all the way around. It starts here and it wraps all the way around to the other edge. So this is going to be the circumference of that circle that's above it, right? Which is also going to be the same as the circle that's below it. So the circumference of this circle, the circumference of a circle is equal to diameter times pi. So in this case, that's going to be 4 times 2 is the diameter, right? Because this is just a radius. So 8 meters times 3.14 is going to be your circumference. So 8 times 3.14 is 25.12 meters. So 25.12 meters. That's your other dimension. That's what this is right here, 25.12 meters. Now we just multiply those together. So 25.12 times 12, that's going to be 301.44, and we use meters once and meters twice. Now we just add those two values together. So 301.44 plus 100.48, 401.92, and they're both meters square. That should be your answer. Okay? And that is the same process you use for every single cylinder. So let's go through that again for the next one. So let's start by drawing our net. So we have a circle at the top. We have that can label that we peeled off. It makes a rectangle in the middle. And then we have a circle at the bottom. These circles, let's put in our dimensions. We have 9 millimeters here, which means we have a 9 millimeter radius here. Okay. The height here is 8 millimeters, so 8 millimeters. So now we have to find the circumference, which is going to be the width of our rectangle. So let's do that first, just so we have that dimension. So circumference is equal to diameter pi, and diameter is just 2 times the radius times pi. So this equals this. It's the same thing. So if you have to think about it like this in order to get here, then do that. That's okay. So that's going to be 2 times the radius of 9 millimeters times 3.14. That's going to be your circumference. So your circumference is going to equal, get our calculator here, 2 times 9 times 3.14. So that's 56.52 millimeters. So that's our dimension here, 56.52 millimeters. Now we have 2 identical circles. Okay, I'm going to say the area of the circle, we have 2 times that area of the circle because they are the same radius, which makes them identical. So we are going to say 2 times the formula for the area of the circle, which is pi times the radius squared. So 2 times 3.14, which is pi, and the radius is 9 millimeters, and we do that 2 times. So now we just multiply. So we've got 2 times 3.14 times 9 times 9. That's 508.68 millimeters used 2 times. That is the area of both of your circles. We did both of them at the same time because they're just alike. We can multiply by 2. So there's the area of our circles. So we could say the area of 2 circles, if we wanted to, is equal to that. Now we're going to find the area of the rectangle. So the area of the rectangle is length times width, which is going to be the same as 8 millimeters times 56.52 millimeters, because that was the circumference of the circle that we already found and wrote it in. So we're going to say 8 times 56.52, and that's going to equal 452.16 millimeters square, because we use millimeters times twice. Now we're going to add the area of the 2 circles, the area of the 2 circles plus the area of the rectangle is going to give us our total surface area. So the area of the 2 rectangles is 508.68 millimeters square. Area of the rectangle is 452.16 millimeters square. That's going to be our total surface area. So we add that plus 508.68. We get 960.84 millimeters square. That should be your answer. All right, let's look at the last cylinder. Again, same exact process. We have a top circle. We have the sides that are wrapped around the circle. And we have a bottom circle. Okay. Our circle has a radius of 5 inches. And then it has the sides are 6 inches tall. So the only dimension we need to find is that width of our rectangle, our label, right? So that is going to be the circumference of the circle. So we're going to find the circumference of the circle. And we know that's 2 times pi. I'm just going to go ahead and put in 3.14 for pi. And then that is 5 inches is the radius. So 2 times pi times the radius. That's our formula. So now we just have to do that calculation to find our circumference. So I pull out my calculator and I say 2 times 3.14 times 5. 31.4. So 31.4 inches goes here. All right, so that's the width. Now we can find all the area. So let's find the area of this circle. I'm going to do a little different this time, and I'm going to find the area of this circle and then the area of this circle, just so you can see the process. So the area of this circle is equal to pi r squared, right? Pi r squared. So 3.14 times 5 inches times 5 inches. Pull out my calculator. 3.14 times 5 times 5. That is 78.5, and we have inches twice. I-N period, and then the exponent of 2. This circle is exactly the same. So I'm going to say the area of the circle is equal to pi r squared, which is going to be 3.14 times 5 inches times 5 inches, which is 78.5 inches squared. Now, you can do it this way, or you can do it this way, where you multiplied it by 2. So all you had to do was add this factor of 2 on the front. It's the same calculation, pi times the radius times the radius. But when you know you have 2 identical circles, you can just multiply it by 2. Or if your brain doesn't work that way, you can do it twice. It's the same thing. You're doing it 2 times, or you're multiplying it times 2. Either way works. Now we find the area of this rectangle, and that's going to be 6 inches times 31.4 inches. So we put that in the calculator. 6 times 31.4. 188.4 inches square. Now all we have to do is add all of these 3 shapes together. So we got 188.4 plus 78.5 plus 78.5. So those are all 3 dimensions. We hit our equal sign. So we had the first circle plus the square plus the other circle. That's going to equal our surface area, our total surface area. So 78.5 inches square plus 188.4 inches square plus 78.5 inches square. Total surface area. We add them together, we get 345.4 inches square for our total surface area. This is the value that we're looking for. That's what you'll type in. Now remember, when you're dealing with inches, inches is the only unit of measure that has a period behind it. So be sure to put that period and then give it an exponent of 2. If you don't put the exponent of 2 on there, it is not area, it is length. You have to have the exponent of 2 to tell people that this is an area of inches, not just like a line of inches or a length Like, it's not a measuring tape, it's a carpet or a sheet of paper. It's something that has space. Okay, so that exponent is very important in relaying that information. In math, the details matter. So pay attention to the details. And that's all you have to do to find surface area of a cylinder. That top circle, that bottom circle, and that label that's kind of, that rectangle that's wrapped around the center. Think of a can of soup. If you go to your pantry and you take a can of soup or a can of vegetables out and you peel away a paper label off the can, look at the shape. Take the time to do that and go look at that shape. You'll see it's a rectangle. But if you do that, be sure to tape it back on there, because if your mom goes in there and there's all these labels off her cans and she doesn't know what is what, she's going to be mad at you. So put it back, but you can absolutely check it out and see for yourself that that is how it works. Okay, so I found a great video that kind of illustrates it for you. All right, so I found a video that kind of goes through that process as a cartoon or as an illustration, so you can kind of see how that works. I'm going to take his volume down so I can't hear it. But watch how he unwraps that. Watch what he's talking about. He's got a bottom circle and a top circle on that cylinder. And then he's going to unwrap the label, the side surface area from that cylinder. And you can see you've got one circle, you've got another circle exactly alike, and then you've got that rectangle when he takes the parts of the cylinder apart. So you've got a height and a length of the rectangle, and then you've got the two circles that are going to make up the top and the bottom. So you find the area of those two circles as well. I thought that was a great illustration and 3D visualization of how that works. So he wraps it back around, and then you put you find the circumference of that circle to find the length of the rectangle. He does a great job of illustrating that. I think that might help you to see that well. And then he tells us how to find it. That's 2 pi r, which is the same thing as the circumference of those two circles. And the height is just the height of the rectangle. The height of the cylinder is the same as the height of the rectangle. So you put those calculations together like we did in the previous 3 problems, and that is going to give you everything that you need to solve for the surface area of a cylinder. So I wanted you to see that. I wanted you to see how it falls apart in a way that, you know, I can only draw it, but this video actually has the 3-dimensional movement to show you how it falls together and how you can pull it apart. So I hope that helped a little bit more with your visualization of the circle on the top and the circle on the bottom and that rectangle that wraps around the sides. Okay, so again, circle plus rectangle plus circle. That's how we do it. And that's all I've got. If you have any other questions about this, please feel free to ask.